One of the many ways that we are blessed as a congregation is by having an endowment that lets us give sizable gifts to other organizations throughout the United States and around the world. And one of those is the Sunbeam Association for Mission, which supports the Sunbeam Home for Boys in Jamaica, a place that I know many of us have fond memories of, that I believe I was promised annual trips to. And we are very fortunate to have Chris Maricle here to share with us some of the work that that group is doing, which we supported this winter with a grant. So it's all yours. And I will also say there's a slideshow, so just kind of go through randomly.
I'll just prompt you to go to the next one, I think, if that works. I know I gave these pictures to Chris last night and didn't give him very good instructions. So many of you are familiar with Sunbeam Boys Home in Jamaica, whether you've participated on a mission or supported from home. So our church recently awarded a grant through the endowment for $4,000 to Sunbeam. I just want to share a little bit about kind of the current state of the home as well as how our grant dollars are being used. So if you're not aware, there's an organization in Minnesota. It's called Sunbeam Association for Mission, and that's actually where the funds go, and they help direct those funds and support the home. Their official statement is they're a 501c3 organized exclusively for charitable and religious purposes, and specifically for the purpose of working in partnership with Sunbeam Boys Home in Jamaica to serve children and young adults there, to provide a safe and nurturing environment, and to teach the principles of Christian living. So Sunbeam Boys Home provides shelter, care, and an education for up to 40 boys ages 7 to 15. And then they also maintain a home called Sunbeam Plus that provides support, encouragement, and assistance with living and school expenses for young men ages 16 plus as they transition to adulthood. So really our funding was being used for two primary things, and one was just the basic needs of the boys at Sunbeam. That's food, clothing, utilities, education materials, and staffing, and that's an important thing. But also, Sunbeam was hit with 2 hurricanes last year, right, and lots of flooding. So Marty, if you go to the next picture, there is a agricultural operation kind of behind Sunbeam, and they're really trying to get this up and running to help support themselves financially. So they depend on a lot of organizations like us and SAM, but are also trying to become more self-sufficient. The pandemic was hard on them as well, right? So mission teams are a big part of how they're supported, and those stopped for a long time. And actually the large mission team, the first one after the pandemic, went in January. But you can see here where a lot of the greenhouse, the things that were growing, just wiped out, right? So that's the land behind the home, just basically all washed out. So a lot of what our funding is going to be used for, beyond just kind of the basic needs of the boys, is to help them rebuild. So again, so they can do their best to support themselves. Right now, they're trying to build back up. They have chickens, which they butcher themselves and sell. They also have pigs, and then also some crops. So Marty, if you could go to the next slide, please. So this is some pictures from January, right? And you can see here, they've got the chicken coop back up and running, and some chickens there that they're starting to raise. Next slide, please, Marty. The greenhouse is back up and running. You can see that they've got that rebuilt and have some crops starting to grow. So again, these are all things that they'll continue to sell to help support themselves as much as possible. And then next slide, please. And then just kind of to wrap things up here, you say, why are we doing this? And really it aligns well with kind of our church's credo, which aims to be all loving, inclusive. We all know we're a wide-reaching church. We focus on our own, but also kind of reach out beyond our walls and borders. So just, you can see lots of smiling faces there, so that's why we do this. Again, this is a picture here in January. Now that they're kind of back up and running, they have the agricultural land operational again. These boys benefit a lot from that too, not just financially, to be able to support the home and those things like that, but they're taught how to work hard, how to put in a good day's work, and just how to grow things, how to care for things, etc. So on behalf of them, just thank you. This church is doing some really good things. We're using our endowment fund in ways that are having a really great impact, again, not just here, but other places as well. So thank you.
Thank you very much. I think I've said this after each of these mission moments, but it bears repeating. It is amazing that we who are not a huge congregation, we who are not a wealthy congregation, we who do not command tons of people can do this work for folks around the world and can help people, can love people at some distance, making sure that they are okay, that they can repair their gardens, that they can make a life for themselves. So thank you to everyone who makes the endowment possible, and everyone who gives those grants, and everyone who writes those grant applications, and everyone who works with all of these organizations for doing everything that you do.